Welcome back. How are you holding up? Our whole Yom Kippur day has been laid out as one long tefillah, one long prayer. We made it through our morning service, or two. Many of us continued in prayer and learning and reflection this afternoon, and I hope that or whatever rest you have had have gone well for you. Now we continue with the final three parts of our sacred day. Mincha, our afternoon service, which begins with the Torah service in just a moment, followed by Yizkar, our service of memory, and then with Ne'ilah, the closing of the gates. This Mincha service in Yom Kippur is built around what may be the holiest part of our holiest book. We will be reading from the center of Leviticus, what's known as the Holiness Code, and it has in it our most sacred commitments to each other as human beings. The 10 Commandments give us the biggest, most general do's and don'ts for how to survive as human beings in society. But here in Leviticus, we learn that in order to truly live a good life, a right life, in covenant with God and with each other, it is on us to take care of each other, both those in our families and those we don't even know. The messages of 3,000 years ago are the same messages we still need to hear today. Maybe we especially need to hear them today. We learn here that we are to take care of the stranger, the person who comes to us from the outside, and that we are supposed to take care of them as if they are our own citizen. We learn here that we are supposed to take care of the poor among us, take care of each other, allowing each other the dignity of produce from our own fields. We learn here that we are here to judge those closest to us with justice, and that we must make sure that those whom we employ get a prompt and just wage. We learn here that we are here to seek justice and to make sure that our neighbors are treated fairly. And we learn here that we are here to be aware of the bounty that has been given to us and to acknowledge its source. Our Torah blessings can be found on page 330, and then we will hear from members of our community reading from Leviticus chapter 19, which will begin on page 338. Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael, v'amata lehem kedoshim tiyu, ki kadosh ani Adonai lechem, ish imo ve'aviv tira'u, v'et shabtotai tishmoru, Ani Adonai Lechem, Al Tifnu El Ha'ililim, Velo Masecha, Lo Ta'asu Lachem, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Uvkutrechem et ketzir atchem, Lo Techaleh, Ve'atzarecha likzur, ve'leket ketzircha lo telaket, ve'chamcha lo te'olel, uferet kamcha lo telaket, le'ani ve'lager ta'azov otam, ani Adonai lechem, lo tignovu, V'lo techachashu v'lo teshakru, ish va'amito, v'lo tishavu v'ishmi l'shaker, v'chilalta et shem Elohecha ani Adonai, לא תעשוק את רעך ולא תגזול, לא תלין פעולת שכיר, איתך עד בוקר. לא תקלל חירש ולפני עיוור, לא תיתן מכשול, ויראת מאלוהיך אני אדוני. לא תעשו עוול במשפט, לא תישא פני דל, ולא תדר פני גדול, בצדק תשפוט עמיתך. לא תלך רכיל בעמך, לא תעמוד על דם רעך, אני אדוני. לא תשנא את אחיך בלבבך, הוכח תוכיח את עמיתך, ולא תישא עליו חטא. לא תיקום ולא תיטור את בני עמך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, אני אדוני.
מפני שיבה תקום, והדרת פני זקן, ויראת מאלוהיך, אני אדוני. וכי אגור אתך גר בארצכם, לא תונו אותו, כאזרח מכם. יהיה לכם הגר, הגר איתכם, ואהבת לו כמוך, כי גרים הייתם בארץ מצרים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. לא תעשו עוול במשפט, במידה, במשקל ובמשורה. מאזני צדק אבני צדק, אפוד צדק, והין צדק יהיה לכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים. ושמרתם את כל חוקותיי ואת כל משפטיי, ועשיתם אותם, אני אדוני.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. Thank you. If you haven't already had a chance to study the story of Jonah today, you may choose to take a few minutes now to read this book of this fairly ridiculous prophet. We won't hear the book now, but you can find it beginning on page 344 in your Machzor. Jonah is a prophet who does not want to be a prophet. He does not want to take responsibility for anyone but himself. He does not want the burden of being a leader or helping people to change. This book is about a time when Jonah finally does become the leader he is supposed to be, and people actually listen to him. They actually stop doing wrong, and they do right instead, with very little effort on Jonah's part. They stop their violence against each other, and they take responsibility for their actions. Jonah doesn't seem to understand his own power for helping others to do good, but he accomplishes good nonetheless. My prayer for us this Yom Kippur is that those who lead us become our Jonahs. Even if they do not know how to be the best prophets they can be, may they find a way to help us transform as a society. May they help us to focus on taking care of each other and for taking responsibility for our actions. And if they need to get swallowed by a giant fish in order to help them get there, then may that fish come soon, and may they be spit up on dry land like Jonah was and go to do the work that is theirs to do. We continue now with our Amidah on page 356. Please rise as you are able.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agite latecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanurah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol Dezocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem L'man Shemo B'Ahava Zochreinu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim, v'chodfenu b'sefer ha'chaim, lemancha Elohim chaim, v'chodfenu b'sefer ha'chaim, v'chodfenu b'sefer ha'chaim, lemancha Elohim chaim. Melech ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah Atah gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayim iti matar rav le'hoshia Mechalkel chayim b'chesed Mechayim itim b'rachamim rabim Tzolech noflim b'rofei cholim U'matir asurim U'mikayem emunato B'shinei afar Zocher Yitzurav l'chaim berachamim v'ne'eman atah le'achayot mitim Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim
Eloheinu ve'Elohei dorotenu, bifros shana chadasha al olamecha. Ana ten belibenu lehodot ulahalel l'shem kodshecha. Al hagdula b'virchotecha. Al matanat hachayim shenatata b'kirbenu. Our God and God of the generations before us, grant us a year of gratitude to you for the most profound of blessings, your gift of life. Please continue now with your own prayer. We will join back together for Yizkor in just a few moments.
I have always found the 90th Psalm a most poignant reading because it reminds us both of our mortality. No one of us will live forever, and also directs us to think about what we do with our days. The 90th Psalm, page 579. Adonai, through all generations we have found our home in you. Before the mountains rose up, before the birth pangs of the earth, you alone have been with us, steadfast and constant for all time. In the end, you return us to dust, saying, "Come home now, daughters and sons of Adam and Eve, you are mortal. In your sight, 1,000 years pass in an instant like a fleeting watch in the night. But how brief the span of our lives. Our years flow by in a dream. We sleep away our days. In the morning we blossom in beauty. In the evening we wither away. Burnt like grass in the blasting heat of summer, we cherish like chaff on the wind. A human life may be 70 years and 10 or 80 years for those who are blessed with strength. So many days consumed by toil and troubles, when our time is cut short and too soon we go into the dark. So teach us to number our days that we may bring home a heart of wisdom. Give us a sense of your presence. Nourish us with your compassion. Knowing your love at the dawn of our life, let us live our days in contentment. May our moments of joy surpass the times of struggle. May we taste the sweetness of each precious day. May the work of our hands bring fulfillment. If you turn to page 604, there is a brief reading which I see as a companion piece to the 90th Psalm. It was written by Claude Montefiore, an adaptation of his work. Deep contemplation of death can elevate the soul. It may even lead to peace of mind. Above all, it helps us to see our lives in a truer light. For all things that appear trivial in the light of death are already without significance in themselves. Annoyance that someone has slighted us, envy over others' achievements, how inconsequential it all seems when viewed from the perspective of our mortality. To pass each day solely in the pursuit of material success, this is life lived in what the poet called the shadow of a shadow. Rather, when death is near, may each of us carry this truth in our hearts. I have contributed to the work of Tikkun Olam. I have done my part in the struggle for goodness. No act of kindness is too small to count. No act of love is without power. The world needs every heart and every hand, and though we can never know the final outcome of our deeds, the fruit of our service will be gathered in by those who come after us. At this sacred moment, reflecting on the impermanence of our lives, let these words serve as affirmation of the quiet ways in which each of us joins the great quest of humankind. The growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts, and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been is half owing to the number who lived faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs.